What's up, everybody? It's Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. And we're going to talk about debt that's being released into the market. You know, I always want to keep you up to date on that because every day we see that debt collectors are taking people to court or they're sending out demand letters or buying up old, outdated debt. We saw what Midland was doing, where they were buying literally billions of dollars worth of debt for pennies on the dollar, and then they were, going out there and attacking people according to what the lawsuit states, making them pay debt that was time barred, which time barred means that the debt is past statute of limitations. They weren't even notifying the people, or they were using terminology that people did not understand. When you hear the word time barred debt, that means that the debt is not you are not legally obligated to pay that debt. So in this video, what we're going to talk about is the debt. We're going to talk about the debt that's being purchased or that is available on the market. So if you have a charge off or write off on your credit reports from an account, this is potentially the debt. If they've sold it, this is potentially the batches that I'm going to be talking about. These are credit card debts. These are payday loan debts. These are um, sometimes private student loans, like for trucking schools, medical type, uh, coding and billing type schools, those types, not that are government backed, in checks, insufficient funds checks, department store credit cards. And then we're going to talk a little bit about success and money too. I was watching some videos here on YouTube. Yes, I watch YouTube too, and looked at some stuff on what people were talking about with what to do with money and investing. So let's talk first about the debt released on the market. We have a $2.5 million mixed credit cards, 3,093 accounts, charge off date 2007 2009, average balance of $808, selling it for pennies on the dollar. Let's go to the next one. Portfolio $5 million, 764 accounts, average charge off date 2009, average balance is $6,500. Wow, they're selling the whole 5 million for less than what the one average balance is, and the charge off date is average 2000. Let me turn that off so we don't have to worry about that noise here. So the average charge date on those is 2009, and we got another one here. Oh, that's a repeat. Another one, $21.6 million, 6,797 accounts, 2008 charge off dates, 3174. They are selling this one for pennies on the dollar. Also, would take, let's see, for 1, 2, 3. If someone got, they're selling for 15,000. If someone got what, five people to pay, they be in the profit. Five people out of 6,797 people. So step number one solution to this, to put a stop to it before it even gets the ball rolling with debt collectors. And these debt collectors could be Midland Funding, LVNV Funding, Resurgence, all of these different debt collection companies, um, Portfolio Recovery, if I didn't say that. Um, what you do is you respond to the debt letter. They're going to send you a demand letter for the debt. Immediately go to your credit reports, and you can get those reports by clicking the website that I have here. Get those reports, check when the original charge off date was, and then go to my website, thecreditrepairshop.com, go to my blog and type in statute of limitations. You may have to sign up for a free membership. It's free, 100% free, no strings attached to get access to that. and look at the statute of limitations for the type of debt that you have. If it's a credit card debt, it's going to be in the fourth column. That's considered an open end account. If it's like a auto debt or like you got a payday loan, some type of loan like that, that's going to be in the contract column, the second column. And look at the statute of limitations date for your state. It's different for every state. That's why I can't sit here and just call them all off. It's different for every state. Some states have a 2 year, a 3 year. Some states have a 10 year, and one state has a 15 year. Yes, 15 years that you got to pay somebody, even if they haven't been contacting you for the debt. So go and look at that. If it's past the statute of limitations, all you have to do is simply notify them that the debt they're attempting to collect from you is past statute of limitation. You want them to cease all collection activities. I have that link for this under this video in my resource links. If it's not past statute of limitations, you can still stop them by doing a debt validation because they normally don't get all of the information to prove that you paid a debt. They usually just get one, maybe an old statement, and they try to get an affidavit if they try to take it to court, an affidavit from the original creditor or someone that, just claiming or not claiming that works in that office saying that you did have an account and that they did normal business practices. But most of the time, when you send that debt validation, they will choose not to go after you because they believe that you know something that you shouldn't know, that other people will just disregard, and so they're going to go after those people. They're not going to go after you because they don't want to go to court and end up looking at the information, being with the answers to your debt validation and all the other things that you can ask for. It just makes problems for them, and they're just not going to move forward. Not to say that they wouldn't, but I would say 9 times out of 10 they're not, because they're going to go to the easy people. If you got 6,700 accounts, then you have people that are sending a cease and desist, and you have people that are sending a debt validation, and that's going to be a small handful, but you have thousands that are not. Who do you think they're going to go after? They're going to go after the people who didn't respond with anything legal that would at least put them on notice. So the resources are below here. So if you just simply follow that instruction, you're going to be way ahead of what other people do are that just disregard it. That just disregard it. Plain and simple, don't do anything on there. Now, so that's what you do. And I make these videos and I repeat it over and over and over again because there's always new people that come to the channel, and then there's always people that get those letters and they get very emotional and they don't know how to respond. And some people just don't do anything about it because they think it's just going to go away. And all of a sudden, they get a court summons, taking them to court. And all that debt collector had was statements that they made, claims that they made about the way you use the credit card account or the order account. And then they have one little statement of the last statement from let's just say, like with these, from the credit card company. And that's not enough really to prove everything in court for it. But most people don't even respond, so they just end up easily winning with no problem. So now, what I want to talk about is uh, with success. I just want to briefly talk about this. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Post your questions and comments. I'm getting in there and I'm answering them. And I'm also setting up a way where I'm going to even have a day where I just call people flat out, or someone from my staff that I'm training is going to call, answer questions for people. So we're working on that. We're working on that. Oh yeah, real quick with Santander, I want to make a quick uh, 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 Santander. Uh, People have had questions on that. They're saying that they went back and forth, different things, or they said that they qualified, they said they didn't qualify. What are their options? Options are to get on the phone with them, get to the executive team, and work out a solution. Solution may not be where you get your car and everything's paid in full, like what's happened with other people, but you can either renegotiate that interest rate, get to a lower payment. You can try to do lump sum payment where you pay the car off if you had the money, or maybe you're in the position to maybe get a loan or get a loan from a, I don't want to say from a family member. Don't bring your family and stuff into this. Just but you got to work to see what your solutions are. And if the solution is not for you, if the solution puts you into a worse situation, maybe the solution is going to be to give that car back to them, and you got to look at a different way to get into a vehicle. You're going to have to figure out something. I mean, it's because what I see with people is that if they're not going to give you the vehicle, because of whatever reason, they're saying that you just don't qualify. And they are the ones who determine if people qualify, not the settlement itself. Read it yourself. If you look at it, even the Attorney General said that Santander will determine who qualifies. So right there, it's already a trap. Then the next thing is, if you don't qualify, what are the options? Option number one, you continue to fight with them to get to a resolution that you can afford to do. If it's the lump sum payment, negotiating like what other people have done to get the vehicle paid off, or if it's interest rate deduction and a lower payment that you can afford. Um, but you're still going to have a car that you've probably paid off multiple times. But that's where you're at, and people need to get it in their head that you're just going to be fighting, and you got to continue fighting, and you got to push for the solution that you want. And maybe something good will just happen, and they'll just say, let's just cancel this one out, give them the car, get them the title, and let's move on from this individual. And when you do that, you have to argue the points that are in the settlement, that someone manipulated your application. Say it. Say that someone manipulated your application. Because if you know that you cannot afford the car, and this is the thing, this is where it's going to hit in two places, because it's going to hit you ego wise, and it's going to hit you real wise with what happened with potentially with your application. Because they someone could have manipulated your application to get you approved, and Santander approved you using an internal score. But yourself, you got to be honest with yourself. You potentially may know that this is something that the person did, or maybe you didn't know, but you do know that you could not afford the payment that they made, because right after you got the car, maybe a few months later, you were like, I can't afford this based on what your other expenses are. So you need to go to them and you need to tell them you can't afford it. And based on the way that the approval was done, someone manipulated your application, because you should not have been able to get the loan based on this. That so you need to modify that loan to fit your income. And that's really your solution that you're going to have if you don't have the money to do a payoff, to pay the vehicle off with one lump sum. Those are the two choices. And then if you cannot afford and get them to do the modification that you can afford to do, then the next level is going to be they're going to come take the car. And that's what they're going to do. And they're going to even be forcing and doing it even more now, because they have to be done with this in what is the 12th of December right now. They have to be done with this by the 31st. After the 31st, they're going to probably go back to business as usual. They're going to be taking cars left and right. So that's where I see things at with Santander right now. Uh, and then real quick, I wanted to speak a little bit on what I'm seeing right now, is that we're living in an excellent time for opportunity. And I know making this switch with people that are struggling right now with Santander, or struggling with debt, or struggling with debt collectors calling. But let me just tell you right now, from what I'm seeing, there was a time where when I was younger, and I was like, if I had this specific type of circumstances that I would be able to just blow things up. Like I'd just be able to improve my life financially, live more comfortable. And right now is that time for me. And what I have been kind of coming to more realization of is that this what we have here with internet, what we have here with the ability to earn money with businesses from home, what we have with the way that we can commute, and just all these different things that are right here in our face that a lot of people do not even see and understand. um, it is here now, and that I'm going to be making more videos and bringing other people into where we need to talk and make you more aware of this opportunity. Right now, you feel stuck because you're experiencing things with debt, you're experiencing things potentially with Santander, getting sued, all these things. But let me tell you that that's just a moment. uh, Once you deal with them, and if the quicker you deal with them, the faster you're able to go forward with opportunity. Reason why people don't deal with stuff is because they're afraid of, number one, of what they got to deal with, and then number two, they don't know how they're going to be able to move forward. And I'm telling you, if you deal with those things, you're going to be able to move forward a lot faster. So, if you need help with your credit, please visit our website, thecreditrepairshop.com. If you need your credit reports and scores, please go to the website, the number 3scores.com. If you need that cease and desist letter because the debt is past statute of limitations. We're not talking about, some people got confused. They're thinking that it's a cease and desist letter to stop communicating. If the debt is not past statute of limitations, don't use that cease and desist letter for that. You can make your own cease and desist letter to stop communicating with you by phone, so they don't call you at your job or your home or neighbors, stuff like that. But they're going to still be able to reach out to you by mail if it's not past statute of limitations. So the cease and desist letter that I have here that I give to people in the resources below is if the debt is past statute of limitations and they cannot collect it from you. And go to the website, the number 3scores.com, to get your credit report so you can look at the comment section so you can see if it's truly past statute of limitations. You're not going to get that from the free credit report places. And then if it's not past statute of limitations, use the debt validation letter to validate the debt, because you could potentially stop them from coming after you by simply using that letter. Okay, well, thanks for everyone for watching, and I hope everybody enjoys their weekend. And this is Stephen A. Williams, President and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com. Thank you.